Welcome back to the O Hockey Show, and I just talked about the NHL Stanley Cup coming up, and my predictions will sort of for that, who's not going to win it really. But let's talk about the other trophies in the NHL. So let's start off with the Norris Trophy. This one to me seems pretty cut and dry. Erik Karlsson leads with goals, assists, and points among NHL defensemen, having a lightning strike back of a year. I mean, this guy, we all know the story already, going from being an Otto, winning to Norris already twice in his career, going to San Jose in that big trade leading to nothing, and he gets signed to the most defenseman I think is actually paid for, with $11.5 million for 7 years, and then he goes into a huge slump of seasons. Last year he only got 35 points. This year he is already up to 82 points in only 4 games into the season. This guy coming back with a vengeance, Mr. Mario himself with that mustache. Absolutely incredible. Karlsson, 1 goal ahead in goals, right above Dougie Hamilton, who could end up passing him, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. He's already so high up there in goals, setting a new record, or tying a record, from a World War II era of hockey in goals, with getting, 10 goals in 13 games or something for a defenseman, something incredible like that. So, Erik Karlsson, absolutely nuts of a year, at least this point. And guys that are runner-ups to him, Rasmus Dahlin and Josh Morrissey, they've kind of, all three of them have been in a race this entire year, but Erik Karlsson's had the whole shot victory at this point, right? He's never been behind them, he's always been in the front, and he's in front of the pack by a landslide, really. 82 points above Morrissey's 67, and then Dahlin with 63 points. So it's not like if he could stop making points today, and he might be able to get out with the most points in the league at this point. And he could very well get to 100 points, which I don't believe has happened. I think I forget what the number was, I gotta be honest, but it's been years since someone's gotten to 100 points as a defenseman, so he's right around the corner from that. Every game with the Sharks of all teams, he seems to get 2 assists a night, it looks. So Erik Karlsson, absolutely fantastic. I mean, obviously he doesn't at 63 and he's played about, but he's got it basically almost as an assist every night, almost. So Karlsson, to me, pretty cut and dry. He's got to win. When it comes to producing offense, obviously he's the hands-down number 1. When it comes to defense, I'm sure, yeah, there's other defensemen better at defense than him, and I know that's the big thing with this reward, which is it's not really based on defensemen as defensemen. It's more like who can produce the most points. But you got to think, in my eyes, the best defense is an amazing offense, and if he's dramming the puck down the throat of the other team and always getting it in the back of their net, with his help with assists, and he scores goals, I mean, in my eyes, he's doing a pretty good job of it. So Erik Karlsson, to me, has to win the Norris Trophy for the 3rd time in his career. Moving on to the Calder Trophy, Rookie of the Year. This one, as well, to me, seems a pretty obvious answer of Matty Beniers. He leads in goals, assists, and points, just like Erik Karlsson in the defenseman category. But Beniers, he leads the Kraken. He's their number 1 guy on the team. He is their guy. Matty Beniers, being a rookie, he's their guy on this team with 47 points, which is outstanding for a rookie. And the guy, he is a presence on the ice. And I want to, before I get any too farther, I want to say Morrissey and Dahlin, fantastic players. Both of them, I would say, probably more sound defensively in the back. But like I said, offense being my favorite part of defense, I got to give the edge to Erik Karlsson as well. So, just saying that. Morrissey and Dahlin, fantastic defensemen. But moving on to the Calder again, just Beniers, overall, he's a presence on the ice. Whenever he's on the ice, he seems to have, I mean, at least every single game that I've ended up watching of the Kraken, he is always on. Whenever he is on the ice, I notice him, I'm watching him, and he makes some amazing moves with the puck. He's incredible. Matty Beniers leads in all categories, as he should. Now, the other one that a lot of people were going for before the season, really, was Logan Thompson, of course, the rookie goalie for the Vegas Golden Knights. For me, in my eyes, I never really saw it. I know he was fantastic in, the 10 games he played at the end of the season. This year, he's injured right now, and overall, when I watched, I don't watch every single game, I just don't have the time to do it, but when I do end up watching the games of the Golden Knights I catch, I gotta say, it's not like Thompson's bad, but in my eyes, he's just not, the goalie, you know? He's not, like, winning me over when it comes to his actual play. Now, his stats, he's got 20 wins, 13 losses, 2 shutouts this year. He's got a .914 save percentage and a .266 goals against, which all numbers pretty good. You know, those are pretty decent numbers. Those are numbers I would want my goalie on my team to have, but for Rookie of the Year candidacy, I just don't see it, and he's lucky that a guy like Gustafsson isn't in contention, because if it came to goalies winning the trophy, Gustafsson edges him out, but because he played 27 games in his career before this year, he gets unluckily edged out of being in competition. But if it was between those two guys, which I count him as a rookie in my head, I would still give it to Gustafsson, and I wouldn't give Gustafsson the trophy overall over Beniers, who leads the Kraken on their rampage to get to a wild card spot, or a playoff spot at least, this year. So Thompson, he's good. I mean, the Golden Knights are going to get into the playoffs, but it wasn't his fault. I don't see him winning games, and he's not winning me over with the performances I've ended up watching. He's a great goalie, no doubt, but overall, as Rookie of the Year, he's not. He's just not. Also, some other rookies. McTavish with 37 points this year. He's second among rookies in points. McTavish, once again, another guy that when he's on the ice, he does sometimes seem invisible, but he does always, when he has a hand on the puck, is trying to do something creative with it and trying to look for a play. But he just doesn't have the experience yet, and on an unfortunately bad team like the Ducks, he doesn't really have a lot of options out there. So when he's out there, he is a fighting guy. He's a fighting player, not as in like actual fighting, but you know, he's fighting in the game. And I like his play, and he's still developing, but when it comes to just overall, I mean, especially on forwards, Beniers leading his team to a playoff run, and McTavish just isn't there. Next is Matthias McKelly, or McShelly, who knows, of the Arizona Coyotes. Now, out of nowhere, no one saw coming, rookie. I don't even see people really talking about his play, but he's third with 33 points. He got his 5th goal the other night, and I mean, this guy on the Coyotes, could you imagine how he could be playing if he was on like the Golden Knights, let's just say, or the Florida Panthers? With 33 points in the Coyotes, getting assists of all things. He's not even getting it by getting his own goals. He's getting it through assists. So he's getting good opportunities. He's giving his team a chance to score goals. So McKelly overall not going to win the Rookie of the Year, but just kind of every time I get a chance, I'd like to shout him out because he's having a stellar year as a Coyote. So he's an out of nowhere. I watched him in a preseason game up front, and he impressed me with his play. And he's showing it off on the big stage. So good job, Matthias McKelly, or however you say his name. And then Kalen Addison, I wanted to say at least one rookie defender, and Addison has been #1 guy scoring points among rookie defensemen this year. He's number 1 in that category, 8th overall in defense. So Addison, he's been a good defenseman for the Minnesota Wild, but once again, nothing too stellar to win the Calder this year. It's definitely not cider worthy. So moving on to the Vezina Trophy. So the Vezina, I feel like, is always an interesting one. I feel like there's always you never know who could win it, and then you could have, like last year, it was pretty clear by like media that it would be Shesterkin, but you could also make cases for guys like Sorokin. But this year, it's pretty clear that the Vezina has got to go to Linus Ullmark. I mean, this guy, he leads goaltenders in goals at least. He's been winning the Rocket Richard this year for goalies. That was, as you know, he's got a 32-4 record, so he's incredible when it comes to his actual record. He's got 8 times the amount of wins he has losses. Earlier in the year, he was at 21-1 or something like that. So just fantastic Linus Ullmark is. He's got a 1.89 goals against average, which is absolutely incredible. He's getting less than 2 goals against a game. A .938 save percentage, which is also absolutely fantastic. And this guy, Ullmark, I mean, it's not like he's even challenged that much because his team is so good, but when he has the confidence because of how good his team is that he can go out there and try to make a crazy save, and he does do those. So, Ullmark, all over the table to me in my eyes. When it comes to points, he's got #1 in goals, but not in points. There's some goalies with more points than he has. But goals, he's winning. Record, he's winning. And that's what you can ask for a goalie, is giving you a chance to win games. And Ullmark, without a doubt, I don't know if he's giving his team the best chance to win, but he's definitely giving he's keeping his team in games, and there's a reason why they've gotten to 100 points faster than any team ever. So Ullmark, in my eyes, once again, pretty clear, obvious choice to win it. Others are Connor Hellebuck. Now, Hellebuck, for the last few years, I think he's actually made the most saves out of, like, the last 3 years or something. And this year, he's third in saves. He's only behind, I think it was John Gibson and UC Saros. Actually, I know that for sure. John Gibson and UC Saros are in front of him. He's third in saves with 1,319 or something. And Linus Ullmark isn't anywhere close. I think he's like 200 or 300 less saves, but that's because he doesn't have that many shots against him, right? So, makes sense. But Hellebuck leading, winning goaltenders in saves, UC Saros and, of course, John Gibson not in very good teams this year. Nashville's okay, but you get it. But Connor Hellebuck this year, 924 save percentage, 914 save percentage. Not anything that's spectacular, right? Kind of with Logan Thompson, but he gets so many shots against him, so many saves as well. So he leaks in a little bit more goals. He's got a 2.62, just is still a fantastic number, but when you compare it to Linus Ullmark, I mean, he wins the cake there. Eric Gustafsson, though, I gotta say, shout him out. Gustafsson this year, absolutely fantastic. Feel like no one's talking about him either. He does have only a 17-8 record, which isn't incredible, but it's pretty decent for a goaltender. He's got a 1.91, which is second in goals against average, so he's just above Linus Ullmark. A 935 save percentage, which is just below Linus Ullmark as well. So, overall, Gustafsson, another guy that no one talks about. Everyone says stuff about Sorokin and guys like Hellebuck, but no one says stuff about guys like Gustafsson. He's playing fantastic, too. And Ilya Sorokin, for another year in a row, just a stats amazing player. He's always in the top 10 of all the goaltender numbers with a 2.33 goals against average. He's fifth in that category, kind of like he was last year. I believe he was like third or something. And as well as a 926 save percentage, which is also which is third. So, and he's tied for shutout. So overall, as a actual complete goaltender, I think with challenges against him on a bad team, I feel like Sorokin, you can make a case because he's on a bad team. The Bruins, with Ullmark or not Ullmark, would still be winning. Sorokin, you could make a claim that he is winning. He's more of a part of the team winning than Linus Ullmark is, but at the same time, Ullmark's numbers are just so damn good. I don't see how you can make a claim against Sorokin. And now time for, the big trophies, right? The big name trophies. And now, the Hart, Art Ross, and Maurice Richard have to go. And I know Maurice Richard isn't voted upon, but I'm just making a guess. That all go to Connor McDavid, of course, the best hockey player of all time. I don't care who you say it is, you're just wrong. McDavid has to win all of these this year. He's got 54 goals. Most in his career, 70 assists, number 1 in the NHL in both of those categories, all 3 categories. He leads in goals, assists, and points with 124, with his best career high ever, and the season's not even over yet. The guy's got a 1.49 points per game in his entire career. This season's his best yet, and the rest of the NHL plead no contest, because this guy, McDavid, he's gonna win the Rocket Richard. There's no way he doesn't. He's got 10 goals more than David Pastrnak, and he's only gonna keep scoring more and more towards the end of the year, having to try to pad his stats together. So he's gonna win that category. Assist, I mean, he's 30 points more than second place, which is Leon Draisaitl, and getting past there. And assist, I mean, I guess someone could pass him in that number, like Kucherov, who I'll talk about in a second. But overall, the Hart Trophy, no way he doesn't win that. The Art Ross, no way he doesn't win that. The only one I'm debating is the Ted Lindsay, because I know the Ted Lindsay, it depends, because it's based on who gives their team, because the Hart's the most valuable to your team, which usually is just the MVP, right? But Ted Lindsay is the definition of it is the player who gives his team the best chance, no, not the best chance to win, but something, it's like it's the most valuable for his team's success, right? So I guess you can make a case for some other players, right? Because sometimes those two usually go to the same guy, like Austin Matthews last year, McDavid's before. But sometimes it does go differently. So for the Ted Lindsay, I could see it going to a guy like Tage Thompson. He does lead his team by a wide margin in points with 83. He's up there in the top 10. 42 goals this year. Tage Thompson, with the Buffalo Sabres being so close to a playoff spot, if you remove him from this team, they're nowhere near a playoff spot. So I could see a case for Tage Thompson. Same thing for Nick Robertson. With 38 goals, 42 assists, 80 points. I could see the same case being made, like, well, McDavid's great, but McDavid, if you remove him from the lineup, you still have Draisaitl, you have Nugent Hopkins, so you still have a decent team. Of course, not as good without McDavid, but you still have a decent team, and if you remove McDavid, you have his $12 million, you could put some other players in the lineup, so you could say, like, maybe they're still good with him, but Tage Thompson, remove him, and they're really out of it. Nick Robertson, you remove him, maybe the Stars are not even close to being first in the Central. And the same thing with Nikita Kucherov, who's doing 91 points, which even like I don't want to say making a resurgence, but last year he had 46 points, I think, because he missed like none of the whole season, and this year just showing how freaking incredible Nikita Kucherov is with 66 assists. So you could say, well, he's getting all the assists on the team. He's second in the NHL at this point. And you could say that he's the main point of his team, because goals 25, obviously pretty good for a player, but 66 assists is where he's literally getting his team to score goals more than anyone except Connor McDavid. So you could make a case for one of those guys, but I still think it ends up with Connor McJesus at the end of the day. And that is the end of the video and all my opinions on the trophies that I can at least talk upon. I would be lying if I knew anything about the Jack Adams and which coach it should go to. It should go to Montgomery of the Bruins. I do think it is mainly his reason that they're doing so good. You can also make a claim for Dallas's coach back there, of course, Peter DeBoer. That's who it is, right? Peter DeBoer. And I love Peter DeBoer. But I still think it should go to Montgomery back there. And the Selke, I don't know who should win the Selke. I don't pay enough attention, I gotta be honest. I might have a hockey channel, but I don't know. So that is all I have to say about the trophy winners. Forget the last minute I've talked about. So thank you for watching this. If you somehow like this video, please feel free to pick up your free subscription down below. We're on the road to 200 now. We've passed 100. We just keep getting more subscribers. We're exploding right now. Join the revolution. And thank you for considering it. So until next time, thank you for watching this. I hope you are having a fantastic day. And until then, I guess, did I already do a too sweet? Too sweet? And ta-ta for now.